comedy is a brilliant example of great execution in formats. Madhur Virli has a show, Madhur Model. There was India's Got Latent. There's one by Harsh Gujral. The roast by Ashish Solanki. The thing is, everyone gets views.
Yeah.
Like, why did we love India's Got Latent? We didn't love it because it was funny. Anything can be funny. We loved it because it was funny in a way that we never saw before. If I were to ask you, is the internet saturated? Is everyone using internet?
I think yes.
India has a population of 1.5 billion. Only 47% of India has access to internet. You take the biggest of the bigger creators. You take like a Gary Minardi or a BBK Vines. He has 50 million subscribers. India has 1.5 billion people. What is that conversion, bro?
Veerdas had in an interview told, if you are a Hindi comedian in India and if you can't hit 1 million views, that means you are not good.
Do you know about the TV show called South Park?
Yes.
The creators became billionaires. The first video that came out on August 13th, 1997 got 1 million views. South Park just took off. It was the fastest growing TV show on like any channel history. But the kicker came when they were negotiating a long-term deal. The lawyer that was negotiating on their behalf added this one small clause. They got 50% of digital revenue in perpetuity. Guys, before we jump into the episode, I just want to tell you that 83.8% of you still have not subscribed to the channel. It takes us so much work just to bring these episodes to you. And all we ask in return is for you to take 1 second, go down and hit the follow or subscribe button wherever you're watching this, because that is what helps us bring on better guests, grow the show, and bring you more value. So if you're with us so far, please take a second, go down, drop the subscribe button, tell the algorithm that you like watching, and let's jump into the episode. Cool. I'm very excited. We are doing our second recording after the little break.
Yeah.
And we are talking about something that has been in the news for a while now. Zakir Khan.
Yeah.
Right? Zakir Khan has sold Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
He's the first...
Sold out, right? Madison Square Garden was sold out.
Yeah, he's sold out, and he's the first Hindi act to
Right.
sell out MSG.
Yeah.
And I think he's the first Asian comedian to go to, there's some similar sort of venue in London also that he
Right.
also sold out. He's like the first Asian comedian to do that.
Right.
And if I'm not wrong, he's done this MSG thing before also. This is not the first time he's been like really selling venues. Yeah. So big deal. So on this note, we want to talk about comedy.
Yeah.
We want to talk about the economics of comedy.
Yep.
How it has evolved in the past 20 years or so since we started watching when we were young. And also like the impact of social media, right? So by the end of this episode, if you are someone that is in the stand-up comedy space, you're a performer, you should be having a better understanding of what it is to be a performer in 2025 with the advent of social media.
And hopefully you will have like a understanding of how the evolution has been happening, and hopefully it helps you.
Yeah.
Because Zakir Khan sold out. And it led me to this thought from childhood where we used to go to shows where we used to perform stand-up comedies. And there used to be a show that used to come on television on Sunday mornings at around 10 a.m. Like 9:30, 10 if I'm not wrong. The whole show was a bunch of comedians debating over a topic. It can be marital issues.
Very
like
interesting.
How does that happen?
This was what year?
This was when I was in my 4th, 5th standard. So I would say
2010s?
No, below.
Less than 20.
Yeah, 2007,
born,
8.
right?
Yeah. 7.
So mid 20s.
6, 7.
Mid 2000s.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And it used to be all the rage in Canada. And the artists that used to come in this program were some of the biggest performers in comedy. And there is this one guy called Gangavati Pranesh. And he's probably the most known name. If you are like 30 and above, or like 28 and above, and you can speak Kannada, I don't think you haven't heard of Gangavati Pranesh. He's that big in the space. And I was just doing research. He has done more than 3,500 shows in his lifetime until now.
God damn, dude.
Yeah, that's an approximation, but still, I'm pretty sure. Because he used to be doing shows left, right, center. These comedy pieces generally used to have like this life lesson at the end, right? So the comedy piece itself was...
Wait,
focused
so
to
these
have...
guys are debating. Is the debate like funny?
Yes, because they are comics. They used to make those points.
Interesting.
So let's say marital issues. So it used to be, should people have marital issues? Should they not have marital issues? Or it used to be like, okay, are men more prone to marital issues or women? So there used
And
to be
you
a for
almost
and
have
against
to,
team.
Dude, didn't they also do this in Comicstan, where you had to debate for and against a certain topic, but you're
Yeah.
being funny.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, like this is a left field thing, but
Right.
something that I notice about comedy, there are so many different formats. So many different formats. And I think that is one of my biggest takeaways as a performer or a creator, is that you have to experiment with different formats, because at the end of the day, what you do is entertain someone, engage someone. That stays the same, right? But the way that you do it, the way that you package it really matters. I'll give you an example. There's an extremely popular, very low-key show. It's called Whose Line Is It Anyway? Okay. So it's a improv show. You probably would have seen
I
it.
have seen this.
There are
It
4
flashed
guys.
back. Yeah.
It has Wayne Brady. He's
Yeah.
the guy from How I Met Your Mother. He was like the gay brother to Barney. And it has a couple of other like extremely popular performers, right? Like they're not actors. They haven't come in like movies, but like in the theater space, they are massive. And the whole show is that you have these prompts, right? So there might be some prompts that the audience has given before the show. There might be some prompts that, hey, you are things that you can say about your house, but not your partner, right? And then
Correct.
it's all improv.
Yeah, things that you can say in bed and in work life.
Yeah.
Like in
So
your office.
it's like a little risky that way. It's not like PG-13 per se.
Yeah.
But it's very like entertaining, right? And then they have these segments where they'll bring out like a guest, and they'll be like, they have this very interesting part where the comedian has to put his hands behind his back, and the guest will be the hands, right? So basically, like I am speaking, but the person behind me is acting,
yeah.
right? And then that becomes like a comedic sort of thing. And now that I think of it, there's so many different like these shows. There's a show called Game Changer. I think we've talked about it here before. Game Changer was started by the same guy that also started College Humor. Do you remember College Humor?
Yeah.
So College Humor back in the day, for people who don't know, was this massive skit channel, right? So they used to do these really high production skits in like mid 2010s. Like early 2010s. This is back when I was in like middle and high school. They were the ones who kind of pioneered this concept. And suddenly they were going on a tangent, but like suddenly they just like fell off, right? Like this College Humor just shut. That's because it wasn't profitable, right? And because it wasn't profitable, what they did very brilliantly, they shifted it into a paywalled, like a media house. So it's called Game Changers. It's very interesting. We'll show some clips. You know what the whole point of Game Changers is? It's a bunch of comedians coming together.
Okay.
Every episode, the game changes.
Oh,
That's the game.
Okay.
Like the game changes. So it's like who can call someone and get them to say I love you the fastest.
Oh,
right?
got it.
Or it could be that like they'll have this. Have you seen Survivor?
Yeah.
So you know how in Survivor you have to like find that one idol.
Right.
So it'll be something similar. The logo of it is hidden somewhere. If you find it, then you have immunity, right? And it's like a very fun sort of. My point is, long story long. That
Long story long.
I think comedy is a brilliant example of great execution in formats. Because at the end of the day, you just laugh. Like, why did we love India's Got Latent? And actually, we'll come to that. There's so many comedians doing these like sort of shows, right? We didn't love it because it was funny.
Yeah.
I think anything can be funny. We loved it because it was funny in a way that we never saw before. Right? And I think that journey is so much more important than the destination. And seems like even the example that you were talking about is very similar.
Yeah. And just to wrap up on that point, how the dynamic has changed, right? Like the artist never had like your final say on where you go, where you perform, how many people come in and all that. But they were definitely these names actually pulled a lot of crowd. So these performances were basically scheduled to get in crowd on all these occasions and stuff. But now, like, I think if you were a successful comedian only if you were on TV, and these guys became that big on TV, but now you need not get on TV and can be like, you are actually bigger on the internet than on the TV, I would say.
So basically, when I was researching for this episode, I came across this report by Ernst & Young. It's called Reinvent. It was released in March of 2024, right? And it breaks down a lot of data around segments, right? So like television, digital media, print, filmed entertainment, online gaming, animation, live events, out-of-home media, music, sports, content, advertising. And it really breaks down like the trend of where things are going, right? Maybe we can get to numbers in a little bit, and I'll link this in the description below for anyone interested. But the one thing that when you zoom out, right, and how we were talking about how comedy has changed in the last 20 or so years since we have been watching it, is that it really you go where the attention goes, right? So let's say when we were young, during the same time period of mid to late 2000s, television was really booming, right? I remember there used to be a service where you could rent movies in a CD.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
You can, it's a subscription service almost where you just pay them and then they send
there
the
used to
CD
be your Kirana stores used to rent
Right.
out CDs
Yeah.
of movies. Yeah.
Correct. And you just you go, hey, I want this movie,
This
and then
movie.
they just send the movie, right?
You had your DVD driver at home.
Exactly.
So you put it, play.
Exactly. And that's when television had become a big deal because I mean, of course, the technology came and networks came and cartoon, the proper cartoon and not the CN bullshit that they have now. Cartoon Network was a thing back then, Pogo and Disney XD and all of these other things. And
Disney XD was still newer, I would say. Was it?
it was new. It was newer. It was later at night, and all the cooler shows were on Disney XD. Hangama was there, where Shinchan and all these other. So I feel because attention was so much on television, if you could get on television and you were funny, you could build the most sort of pivotal thing that people would remember is the laughter challenge, right? So if you don't know, the laughter challenge was this not reality TV show exactly, but it was one of the earliest TV shows on comedy, right? It was the comedy shows that they have now, but originally. So do you know this guy Ehsan Qureshi? Let me just play a clip. He's the guy that extends his sentences. So he'll talk like this, and this is how he will.
खटमल मच्छर और नेता एक सा जीवन जीते हैं, बस इंसान का ही खून पीते हैं.
So that was his style, right? That was his delivery.
Okay.
And it was him. Have you seen Sunil Pal? No. So Sunil Pal had this huge thing with Tanmay Bhatt, a fight, where Sunil Pal was like, oh, fuck Tanmay Bhatt, oh, he's not a comedian, he's not an artist. Right. He famously said, oh, I don't even consider him to be a human being. Dude, this is the one with Navjot Singh Sidhu and Shekhar Suman.
Okay. So I wasn't into Hindi shows when I was a kid, so I have no idea.
So the Great Indian Laughter Challenge was the thing. Right? I remember it being the biggest thing, even before Big Boss. Right? This is what you used to watch because it was family friendly and of course it was funny.
Yeah.
Right? So that was the television era, and the people that won it, of course, they got a lot of fame and they became really well known in the comedy circle. But then slowly things started shifting towards this thing called the internet, right? YouTube came about, and you could. I remember in comedy there was. You must be knowing this. Kanan and Biswa had pretentious movie reviews, right? I just remember seeing it I distinctly remember I saw it in 2014, right? I was in 11th and I was just like, dude, what is this? I remember telling my friend, dude, we need to do this. Why are we, we can do this, right? Then there was Kenny Sebastian. AIB was on the rise, right? That was the golden heyday of YouTube / comedy. And I think with AIB, they sort of broke open this idea that you don't need to go to a show to build an audience, right?
Yeah.
Because when I was doing research, I realized that the model of comedy before was that you go to an event, because that's the only place where you can get access to an audience, right? Because you also need a feedback loop to make better material. So the the stakes were actually higher. So you go to a show and then the show will be headlined by one person, but then you say that I'll what's it called?
Opening set.
I'll open for them.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where you test out the material.
Yeah.
And then there the feedback loops were longer.
Yeah.
Right? But then YouTube, there was a 5-year period where not a lot of people are uploading, but the ones that were really going viral.
Yeah.
Insanely viral.
Yeah.
And one of these people was also Zakir Khan. And basically what happened that comedians at that point started realizing that, hey, I can actually get a lot of following and audience this way, right? I just have to go quickly record a set, And a lot of these guys, I remember back in the day, they didn't have proper recording equipment in these clubs,
Yeah.
right? So it was like this one top CCTV angle where he has like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So he's just like cycling through material. Okay,
Yeah.
guys, thank you so much. This is my time. And then he'll go.
Yeah.
Right? And that's like a 2-minute set that he puts up on YouTube. So I think
Like
feedback.
2 minutes. It's
Generally, they have like 2-minute, 5-minute sets because they don't have, there are too many people who are trying out, right?
correct.
So the evolution of comedy has been that way, that like how quickly can you get the audience? And then a lot of people I've realized who do well, one of them is Zakir Khan because of AIB, we'll get to that, is because they're able to tap into that sort of vacuum where there is opportunity but not enough people have recognized the opportunity. So for example, when AIB was making content, nothing was stopping other people also to make content on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? Of course, other people were, but now in 2025 versus 2015, the competition is so much higher.
Yeah.
Right? Like there are proper media houses putting in like movie grade budget into making these videos. Right? That was not the case back then.
But I think it's also, there was a vacuum of content. Around that time, there's no
correct.
content
No
for
one is
people to
uploading
watch.
it. Yeah, exactly.
And access to events was not like everyday thing. Like you could not go out and watch something, right? On a regular basis. But like now that you had internet, you can watch it at home.
Correct.
So there was insane demand, no supply. So everybody that made content who were reasonably well did really well because like the...
Correct. Dude, you know, that's a very interesting thing that you bring up. We're digressing a little bit. We'll get back to Zakir Khan.
Yeah.
If I were to ask you that, is the internet saturated? What would you say? Saturated in the sense that, is everyone on the internet? Like, is everyone using internet?
I think
Just-
yes.
just don't
I think
think.
yes. I think yes.
Your answer would be yes?
Yes. Everybody is using the internet. I don't think everybody is putting their thoughts on the internet, but everybody is using the internet.
I don't
Everybody
mean
is
like
looking for something.
people who are creating. I just mean
Okay.
people who have
Yeah,
access
everybody
to
is on the internet, bro. Fucking unless you are in some tribal village where there is no Geo tower, you are definitely using the internet.
Dude, India has a population of 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Maybe more now.
Yeah.
We'll correct the stat if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Only 47% of India has access to internet. Okay.
Okay.
I was watching some Anurag Kashyap interview because of this. No, sorry, Amir Khan interview.
Bro, how? But when was this data? Like
This is
how?
2024.
24.
It's very recent.
Okay, cool.
I was watching some Amir Khan data. You know the biggest of the biggest blockbusters. You know how many people they reach in terms of the Indian population?
Let's say
Biggest block. You take Dangal.
or 3 days for that matter.
You take 3 idiots.
Idiots,
In
probably
terms
is
of
because-
ratio, percentage of Indian population, how many people actually saw it?
40%?
3%.
What?
3%.
In theaters, you mean?
In general, I mean, of course, you can't, like, these are trackable numbers.
In
If it got pirated
theater,
somewhere or something you don't know.
Yeah.
Trackable numbers is 3%.
Crazy.
Dude, imagine like the diaspora of India is so wide.
Yeah.
You can, like, it's so difficult for one person to relate to everyone.
Yeah.
Dude, you take the biggest of the bigger creators. You take like a Carrie Minati or a BBK Vines. He has
Right.
50 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Right? India has 1.5 billion people. What is that conversion, bro? That's 1 by 30. That's 3%.
That's 3%. Yeah.
Right? So I feel like, and that was a great stat.
Yeah.
You know, like you can reach 3% of people. That's kind of the glass ceiling.
Right.
Right?
Oh, correct. Like this reminds me, Veerdas had in an interview told, so if you are a Hindi comedian in India and if you can't hit 1 million views, that means you are not good.
Yeah.
Because bro,
Hindi is exactly.
It's that big. If you are not
Exactly.
able to do
Market
that,
is
it's
that
like
big.
you
Exactly.
are not good.
So my point is that like India is huge and the market is almost always expanding. Right?
Right.
Like we find so many people on a daily basis where we're like, dude, 10 million subscribers. I didn't even know this person existed. Which is also what Anurag talked about in the episode number 24. Right? Where he was talking about how like virality and recognition don't mean the same thing. Right? But we're digressing.
Yes.
So coming back to Zakir Khan, and so that's kind of the arc of comedy as a whole, right? So of course it's a double-edged sword. If the market is small, I would say like the YouTube strategy market is very small. That's why we are sort of struggling and figuring out how to grow the podcast and grow the show. But at the same time, we have a like first mover advantage, right? And at the same time, as the market grows, let's say tomorrow YouTube strategy and like being a creator becomes like a mainstream thing, then of course it'll be easier for you to get attention. At the same time, there'll be so much competition. So it's kind of not. Right? So you always have one challenge or the other. It's just that like
Which challenge
what
do you
would
want?
you prefer
Yeah,
to have?
yeah.
So that's kind of the arc, right? You start off with television,
Yeah.
where it was more mainstream. You had to
Yeah.
open things like that. Then slowly the advent of social media, where in mid 2010s you could just like put something online and then see it work.
Yeah.
And now I think it's really cranked that up, right? Everyone is creating shows, everyone is creating formats, people are understanding algorithms. And that's kind of where the thing is headed.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're a small comedian, the best way to do would be to collaborate with other comedians,
Right.
put content online, and then try to see what sort of hits
Yeah.
offline, right? So that's kind of where set the context. Now, how does Zakir fit into the picture? I feel like Zakir's storyline is so interesting because do you know his background?
Yeah.
He's a fifth generation musician.
Yeah.
Fifth generation music. What the hell, man? So in so many interviews, he was talking about how being an artist is in his blood.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of the things that comes second nature to him, people don't understand. Like other artists don't understand because he's like, dude, I've been doing this. Like,
Yeah.
this is my bread. This is literally my DNA.
Actually, there is this very interesting part of the interview where he talks about creator's block. Somebody asked him, so what do you do when you get creator's block? He's like, I don't get creator's block.
Right.
So if I don't feel like writing comedy, I write shairi like that. If not that, I'll do something in music.
Correct.
And I'll find a new thing to do creatively.
Correct. I feel like, dude, he dropped so many nuggets of like wisdom.
Yeah.
Of like jealousy and
Yeah.
how to think of other people doing better than you, and how to think about fame, and what he thinks about money. Maybe we'll get to that also. So basically he started off by doing that. I think he faced like a shit ton of trouble and challenges when he was starting out. He was like jobless for 3 years.
Yeah.
But eventually he got his break doing stand-up, right? Like people told him, you're great at stand-up, why don't you do stand-up? And I think if I'm not wrong, I heard in one of his interviews that he interviewed for being a scriptwriter at AIB.
Correct.
And this was in the AIB heyday.
Yeah.
And I think you will know this.
Yeah.
AIB heyday. And he was like, oh, can I get, I think he said like 50,000 or something.
It's a part of his stand-up piece also. I forget the exact show, but he's like, so I was trying to get like 25. So I was like, bare minimum, I have to make 15,000. I'll tell them 25. Let's see if they'll be able to give me that money.
Right.
And then he goes there and pitches like, 25. And he's like, oh, that is too much. We won't be able to afford. Arey, tu bata na kitna dega? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. That was the thing. And then I think it ended up being that he was like, they thought 25 lakhs, and then he's like, oh, my budget is 2.5 lakhs. And he was like, oh, fuck, 2.5 lakhs. So
We'll give you accommodation.
Yeah. Like his big boy moment there. Yeah. And of course, after he got into AIB, I remember AIB was doing some event. It was like an outdoor event where he did that sucked Londa joke that he had, and the crowd just went berserk. It was just insane. That was my first sort of intro to him, and I was like, dude, who the fuck is this guy, man? Why are everyone going crazy for him?
Right.
And of course, from there, it's just been onwards and upwards. So if we were to, like, if I was a performer, and we kind of are, right? And we're like, hey, we want to get to that level. My first biggest thing will be, dude, it takes a fuck ton of time.
Yeah.
I think Zakir has been performing for like 15 years now, right? So he's an overnight success, 15 years in the making.
Yeah.
Right? I think he really has a unique personality, right? Like he has something to offer. He has that flavor that you don't get elsewhere. And I think even his Amazon show, if I'm not wrong, Chacha Vidayak Hai Hamare, that is also doing phenomenally well. If I'm not wrong, it's been renewed for like a third season.
Yeah.
I saw one interview for second season, and I think I've seen a third season also. And that's also
I don't follow that
that's also about, like, he's from Indore. It's about a person in Indore, right? It's like his story. And that's not normally something that you would see on like a big screen, right? You would want to see something that's like super aspirational, super hey, but it's truly his story, right? He was like I have done that. I have, they do that awaragardi on bikes and just like chilling with friends. Like I used to do that and Indore, and that's what I, captured in the show. So that's one, that you have to be true to yourself. Because the minute you try to be someone else, then you're competing with other people. Yeah. But the minute you are trying to be the best version of yourself, you're in like a market of one. Yeah. Right?
And also, like, the biggest part of why comedy has grown to such an extent is also like the community that they have been able to develop, right? all big comedians try to help smaller comedians coming up. They figure out ways where they're able to get on a show or be a part of their show.
Correct.
They figure out a way and be supportive of the fact that they are doing it. They hold open houses. Like if Zakir goes to any open house, you know for a
Open mic.
fact. If he goes to open mics, it is 100% sure people are going to come. So he will have a couple of open acts. Like they will be like at least 4 or 5 artists
Other, like,
before
on the
who will perform
up and
before him.
coming
Yeah,
comedians that he wants to give a platform.
to.
Correct.
And that's always a big thing. And also thanks to YouTube and obviously Tanmay and a bunch of these other people who are doing the shows, they are able to get like these new people, up and coming people who have really got the talent but probably haven't been able to crack. Them just being on these shows
Correct.
like really takes off their career.
Correct.
And we have seen more than enough examples of that.
Yeah, too many, man. Comedy in India is so symbolic of the idea that try to grow the pie, not your slice of it. Right? Because if you think about AIB, if you think about all of the other shows that are happening now, right?
Yeah.
Like the industry grows when everyone grows.
Yeah.
Right? When only one person is there, then after a point, people will get bored.
Yeah.
Right? But when like there's so much collaboration happening, and that has happened in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And even on the YouTube show side, right? Madhur Virli has a show, Madhur Model. There is that other relationship show that I'm forgetting the name of, where blind dating, if I'm not wrong.
Right.
Then there is Apna Bangalore fellow. It's also a relationship show only.
Yeah, like they get people to date and stuff. Yeah.
Right. That's 3. There's
Relationship
counted
advice.
There was India's Got Latent.
Yeah.
Then there
was
one by one by Harsh Gujral.
Yeah. Andha Pyar. There is Andha Pyar also.
Oh, Andha Pyar is that other one, the first dating show.
Yeah.
Then Harsh Gujral is like some confession something.
Then there the roast show.
Yes,
I forget.
yes. The roast by Ashish Solanki.
Correct. The
bro code roast.
Yeah.
Then there is dude, fuck man, there's so many of them. And the thing is, everyone gets views.
Yeah.
Dude, I was watching Madhur Virli's Madhur Model for the first time last week. Dude, it's a 2-hour show on YouTube. And people watch it.
Yeah.
And they have really perfected the format.
Yeah.
Right? They have really understood that, hey, like we are going to, it's crowd work.
Yeah.
It's like a mix between crowd work and podcast.
Yeah. And if you see, like the people who are on the panel also are very, like they're just
They're
like
very quick and on their
looking to
feet.
like make
Yes.
punchlines.
Yes.
On the
and
go.
I think and I feel like that's what also worked for Zakir.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to like be like, hey, I'm good at what I do. But it's another thing to capture that opportunity when it presents itself.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's a very ideal symbiotic relationship. Because Tanmay needs 4 good comedians to be on the panel for his meme react videos to work, which is also another format if you think about it, right? And then those comedians also obviously benefit from it because they're getting that platform, right? So I think comedy has been exemplary of that. Again, I would like to think that a large part of Zakir's success has come, of course, from his own talent. It has also, a small factor has been being part of that community and collaborating with each other, right? Because everyone has a different platform. And the minute you go on that platform, you're able to sort of cash into that audience. And of course, you have to be your own self, right? Like I remember Samay used to be a huge part of Tanmay's meme videos. But he had to find himself and his true sort of core comedy.
Yeah.
And that is when he really took off.
Yeah.
Right? Because they used to make that joke, like Kullu's role right now was with Samay, right?
Yeah.
Like Samay used to, you suck Tanmay's dick and all of that used to be there. Even Kullu right now, I feel like when I saw his special or when I saw his videos, I was like, hey, I like his personality. I get the person he's trying to be on Tanmay's Reacts, which is like a small portion, but I like this. So that was like a precursor to his stand-up. And I think the same thing happened with Zakir.
Any industry who is able to tap into a community, forget industry, right? Any company or community which is able to establish that sense of sharing and be open to be on others' things will really take off. And it's a model that has worked everywhere for comedy.
What are some other examples?
Like if you can think of something like Growth X. I've been a part of the community. I've seen how it operates. Like the community is that strong because people coming in are very happy to share information. They're more than happy to go in and give people advice, explain to them what is something that they can do. And it's not like these guys are bad, right? These guys are some of the biggest in the industry.
I think you see it on YouTube also, right? Like Sidemen is the biggest example.
Yeah.
Like they have their own thing, but they also have Sidemen.
Yeah.
Beta Squad is same.
Yeah.
Have their own thing.
Yeah.
They also have Beta Squad.
Yeah.
You have
Orange Juice Gang.
Sorry?
It's Marathi influencers.
Yeah.
It's called the Orange Juice Gang.
Correct.
You would have seen like one creator make
Correct.
content like, yeah, they support each other. They be in each other's videos.
Correct. Coming to the economics of it all, I feel like it's generating interest, right? And it's figuring out what's the unique thing that you're selling, right? So in comedy, let's say it's a format, right? You're selling a unique format. You're selling that feeling. And second is how, like, is that feeling that someone is willing to pay for? I think that is where a very weird way that I got this insight was Samay going on Ashish Solanki's show, right? So his entire joke, his entire roast was the fact that, hey, you guys are trying to make fun of me, but what you don't understand is no one knows what my truest insecurities are. And I can tell you what each of your insecurities are. So he was like, Kullu, you're afraid that you'll always stay in Tanmay's shadow.
Right.
You know, this other guy, I think Gaurav or something, you're afraid that you're getting millions of views on YouTube, but you're not selling tickets.
Right.
This other person, your thing is, and it makes sense, right? Like, not everything that goes viral would also, like, people would want to buy tickets for. Talking about comedy and like Zakir, of course, doing great things, I feel like my takeaway as an artist, I mean, I'm not really an artist or like a creative person, is that one, you have to like just be at it. There's no two ways about it, right? Two, maximize, increase your surface area for luck.
Yeah.
Right? Don't just like you do your thing, go and collaborate with other people. Have like one beautiful thing he said, he quoted Bobby Deol. And he said in an interview, Bobby Deol said that कभी कभी आप काम करते हो फिर आप थोड़ा वेकेशन लेते हो और आप काम करते हो और वेकेशन लेते हो एंड इवेंचुअली आपका काम थोड़ा कम हो जाता है फिर आप थोड़ा ज़्यादा वेकेशन लेते हो एंड इवेंचुअली आपको काम ही नहीं मिलता तो आप सिर्फ वेकेशन मिलते हो I never want to get to that position. So I always have work that's happening. He has like things that are going on like 10 different places. Right? He has a movie, he has a TV show, he has a stand-up, he has some other collaboration that he's doing, he's some event, some this, some that. I think that made a lot of sense. Of course, you have focus in one sort of broad area of, hey, like, I'm an artist. But you just need to have things that are going on that, like, you should never be sitting still. And even I've been really reading into psychology and mental health. One thing that they say about anxiety, right, is that anxiety is the fear of what will happen in the future. If you're truly occupied with what you're doing, you will not have the time to think about what's in the future.
Right.
So you just need to like do more work. That doesn't mean you burn out, but like just do more things.
Yeah.
If you have the time to sit and be like, oh fuck, what will happen tomorrow?
Yeah.
You're wasting time.
Yeah.
That was a very interesting thing. I think that's one. Second is, I mean, just like collaboration, being good at what you do. And dude, it's a long road, man.
Yeah.
It's a really long road. So you have to just like keep at it. I know they're very vanilla, generic sort of things, but those are my biggest takeaways. So do you know about the TV show called South Park?
Yes.
Okay. So South Park, for people who don't know, is like this animated show which is like kind of unhinged. Where it's just like a bunch of kids that are like shitting on everything, right? So the creators of South Park,
Can you say it's a satirical show on current affairs? Because that's what they generally call.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. And everything that's happening now in the world, they'll just like shit on it. They'll shit on like, the Pride Month, they'll shit on like politics and elections and everything they find, they'll shit on it. The creators became billionaires.
Crazy.
Right? And
from just that one show or
from just that one show.
Insane.
And I was reading this newsletter from this guy called Trunk Fan. Highly recommend people check out. I'll link it in the description below. Trunk is basically, he's actually worked with Sam Parr from MFM in his previous startup.
Okay.
He's like a prolific writer. He has like 1 million followers on Twitter and like he's a wonderful newsletter.
Right.
So he talked about how South Park and the creators became billionaires, right? And I'll try to summarize it. They became extremely lucky, right? Because when they first started out, they had created one sort of short film before this that had gone viral. And this is like late 90s. So going viral was a big deal then because people actually had to like physically share like VHS tapes, right? Then they started pitching to these news networks. And there was this one news network that was like new on the block, and they were trying to figure out, okay, what is our sort of ethos and what we're trying to do. Not sorry, news networks. These are like networks, channels, right?
Yeah.
TV channels. And this network was Comedy Central, right? So late 90s, Comedy Central. They're trying to like figure out what their content is going to be about. So these guys get commissioned to make a pilot because of the success of the previous thing that they made. The first episode was okay, that's the name.
Yeah.
Dude, the first video that came out on August 13th, 1997
Right.
got 1 million views.
Crazy.
Dude, getting 1 million views in 97 is insane.
Yeah.
It's equivalent to like 100 million views today. Like
Got
quite
it.
literally.
Yeah.
South Park just took off. It was the fastest growing TV show on like any channel history. And the very first episode, was stop motion animated. Right?
Got it.
So it was actual, like they had cut out pieces of each character.
Paper cutouts.
They had like, it was frame by frame animated.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it started. That's how like even now what we see, South Park, it's basically like the digital version of that.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like smooth animation.
Yeah.
It's like you can kind of see the choppy frames. But the kicker came when they were negotiating a long-term deal with Comedy Central.
Okay.
Right? Basically, the lawyer that was talking about, was negotiating on their behalf, added this one small clause that said any income that is coming outside of digital revenue, right? So it could be merchandise, it could be licensing rights, anything like that. Any revenue that's coming outside of this main thing, you have to do 50-50 with the creators.
Like the profit.
Yes.
Okay.
Like the revenue, you have to do 50-50.
Revenue
not
50-50.
profit. Yeah.
Crazy.
Because I think in these large deals, it's difficult to, how do you quantify revenue?
Profit,
right?
correct.
So
revenue
profit.
50%.
Yeah. So it was 50% revenue. And at that point in late 90s, no one really knew. Like no one could anticipate. Comedy Central got bought and sold a bunch of times. And throughout the process, South Park became extremely popular. Insanely popular. I think they've done close to like 600 episodes. They're one of the longest running TV shows ever.
Crazy.
Right? Which
Okay.
is just like incredible.
Yeah.
Right? And the biggest part was these guys owned the show. Right? They owned
The IP.
yeah.
Yes.
Wait, let me verify it.
Interesting, like how they were able to own an IP on a channel. Because I can't think of like
Yeah.
two more
They-
examples that has
They
done
got
this.
50% of digital revenue in perpetuity. That was the clause. Right? So
So they had the digital rights for it.
yes.
50% of the digital rights in
perpetuity.
perpetuity.
Yeah.
And the other 50 was with the channel.
Was with whoever else
Owned the
it,
channel.
wanted
Got
to
it.
distribute it.
Got it.
Right? So there's a brilliant documentary. I also shared it on our
Yeah.
community, 1 of 10 community. It's called 6 Days to Air, the making of South Park. So it talks about how these guys used to, I think they released like 6 months in the year and they uploaded episodes every 6 days. Every 6 days they had to finish.
Crazy.
And it went from the animation, the writing, the comedy, everything happened in those 6 days, right? And it shows the process of like everyone, dude, 40-year-old guys and men and women are like sleeping on the floor because they're like, fuck, dude, the script is not done. We have to finish it tomorrow. So I'm going to wake up and start animating it.
Yeah.
Insane documentary. You have to watch it.
Yeah.
Also, we'll link it in the description below.
Wait, like this clause, was it like intentional or it was just like
I think it was at that point, they were just like, hey, like, let's add it anyway. We have nothing to lose. And the network was also didn't know what the potential was. So then, like, no one really knew, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the luck comes in. I think so much of success in media is just like right place, right time. You can't, like, you inherently cannot predict it. It's not reverse engineerable. It's just like you just have to be at a point and place, meet the right person. Even when we are talking to Big Four, because when we talking to Sid, they had gone to Spain with George Indian.
Yeah.
And they were like, dude, you guys made us travel 200 fucking kilometers just for this one dish. Why don't you just like put this on YouTube?
Yeah.
That's how it started. And now like it's one of the biggest food shows in India.
Yeah.
Right? So I think a lot of success it's just luck, right? If I were to sort of double tap on that, there are 4 kinds of luck, right? And Naval talks about this a lot. One is just like hard work. You just like you're working really hard. Second is you know the right people, right? Third is you're really good at what you do. So that basically means you're so good. Let's say the example he uses is you are the world's premier and only deep sea treasure diver. So it doesn't matter where someone finds a treasure across the world, they have to come to you.
Correct.
Right? So you become so good at that craft.
Right.
And fourth is, I'm forgetting what that fourth thing is. But the point is, you are the right person, but you sort of can re-engineer luck a little bit. But often it just happenstance.
Yeah.
Like that, those 5 words, 50% of digital revenue in perpetuity.
Right.
No one could have said, 15 years down the line, it would have been worth like $8 billion.
Yeah.
Right? Success in media, what I have observed, it's a 10-year game, minimum. Minimum 10-year game. So I think if you're not willing to do what you're doing right now for the next 10 years, I don't think you can expect like those outsized rewards. And I'm pretty sure you also would be knowing examples of people who, like even Tanmay Bhatt, if you see a lot of his older streams that were happening in COVID, which was like right at that 7-8 year mark, right? They were like, he was just putting in the work. I was watching some video yesterday with Sunil Pal, like his feud that was happening. You can see his bed in the background. You can see the green screen. Like some shit is there on the table. He's like fucking eating Maggie into his mic. It's not glamorous, but he's putting in the work. And of course, now around the 10-year mark, he has sort of become insanely successful, right? So those are kind of my biggest takeaways. One, you have to do something that's different, and you have to be an early adopter to a market that is not saturated yet. I think those two are one of the best sort of leading indicators that you could hit it big in media in general.
You asked a question like, is the internet saturated? I'd say like saturated in the sense of there's a lot of people doing content in specific categories, but I think there are a lot more unexplored categories where you can definitely do content.
100%. I think formats is where it's at, man. Like you have to, and I think in India, like in general, you don't have, like, why don't we have a first we feast? Hot ones. Why don't we have that? Why don't we have the blind date thing that the sidemen have?
Yeah.
Right?
I think there are versions, but never really worked for some
small
reason.
Versions. I know like there's smaller like Gen Z groups that are doing it, but like why isn't someone like really going after it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's also like a cultural thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, we are very different as a culture, but I would say you should start thinking of shows that actually appeal to us, because like something like this Tinder is like, yeah man, tier 1 city, like this very niche crowd, that'll work. But if you can think bigger, think bigger India, think like more normal India, I think you'll be able to build way bigger shows that way.
I think that's also the thing, right? Like
because that's the average UK. Exactly.
The balancing between smaller audience, higher purchasing power versus huge audience but lower purchasing power. Right? I feel like the media landscape in India has not, like, no one has really figured out okay, like what really is the thing. And personally, I feel like being part of that tier 1 crowd, you don't know what's happening in tier 2.
Yeah.
Like maybe something is happening and
you never know, bro, what is exactly happening there.
One last thing that I want to cover is I have been super into, like I said, psychology and like mental health off late, right? Because that's what I talk about on my page. And one of the things that I stumbled upon is this TV show called Couples Therapy.
Okay. Where is it streaming?
It's on Showtime, so it's not in India. I've only seen clips. I haven't actually seen the full episodes.
Okay.
But it was nominated for an Emmy, which I got to know yesterday. So it's a big deal, right? And it's basically, the concept of the show is that there's a therapist. I think she's a Israeli therapist who talks to couples. And it's recorded. And the production of it is super interesting. I was showing you before we started recording.
Yeah.
It's like you genuinely feel like you're in the room with them, which is so weird because, like, if anyone has ever been to therapy, it's very difficult to like, if there's a camera, dude, I will not be my true self.
Yeah.
And some of the things that these people talk about, they talk about everything. I mean, like it's couples therapy, right?
Yeah.
They talk about relationships and I don't want to name the explicit stuff, but like various different types of things.
I mean, therapy is still therapy, bro. You have to talk about like very
you have
deep,
to talk about
disturbing
like emotions
shit.
and childhood and trauma and all of that, right? Dude, like if I got hooked onto it so quickly, did other people also get hooked onto it? So then I started searching. Dude, there's a subreddit for it with 30,000 followers.
Right.
And it is insanely active.
Right.
And that made me think that the litmus test for you to sort of do well in media is that, do you have your own subreddit? Right?
Crazy.
India's Got Latent had a subreddit.
Right.
Rebel
think for-
Kid has a subreddit.
I think for India, it's like, do you have a WhatsApp channel named after your show name?
Could be. I'm not part of that many WhatsApp channels. I am part of subreddits, so I know that subreddits are like, dude, the minute people want to talk about something, right? They
Yeah.
can't do it in the comments. By the way, that's a new YouTube feature
Right.
that you can. Did you know this? Yeah, you can
I
actually.
we discussed it
It's
on
a Reddit
the,
thing,
yeah.
but on YouTube,
YouTube,
which
yeah.
very interesting. But anyway, so like you need, if you have a subreddit, you know that you're doing something right. It's such a great strategy. You know what's the pin post on the subreddit is? It's an AMA with that therapist.
Oh.
The first, like I just sorted by best, and that's the thing that comes on top. It's just like pinned on top, right? So I thought, why don't shows in India do this? Right? When you know that a show is doing really well, why don't you let people engage with it? At least I haven't seen it. Maybe someone's already
Because
doing it.
when you think about it, India, Reddit usage in India, very abysmally small.
Really? I think, okay, yeah. Compared to other platforms, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
that's why I said, like, if you are big in India, I would say WhatsApp group is how you mark
Right.
about it.
But the thing is, WhatsApp channels are not public, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a
Like
bigger
Reddit
problem.
is
Yeah.
like you can search and you can join. But
Join,
like,
yeah.
WhatsApp is very sort of gate kept that way.
Yeah.
We were also having this debate, right? Like where should we host our community?
Yeah.
And I think WhatsApp is the place to go, is the way to go if you're doing it in India. But I feel like if you're looking at it from like a marketing standpoint, right? Like you want it to be public. Like, you know how Sid talked about having FTC?
Yeah.
Right? So FTC, for people who don't know, is the Four-Course Dining Club.
Yeah.
It's one of the most premier sort of food connoisseur / restaurateur WhatsApp channel. And you won't find like a public link. They do talk about it if they're asked about it. Where do you go for community? Like if you want to discuss about something, where do you go? Not with people that you know.
Right.
People that you don't know. You either go on Quora,
Somewhere,
or
like
you go on
Quora
Reddit.
has been like where I would go to ask questions or like find these very niche questions or answers.
I mean, yeah, for me it used to be Quora, but then I realized that Quora became very sort of commercialized. Like people were writing for the sake of writing, and it's more sort of long form.
Yeah.
Reddit is the one place, like whatever health issues you have, you can just go health issue Reddit. Someone will have talked about it. You can find subreddits for that health issue. You know, you can find, whatever, leg pain, this thing, high blood pressure, one subreddit, this thing, one subreddit. I haven't come across any other platform that's similar. There are other niche use cases. There's Fishbowl for consulting, because I was in consulting.
Correct.
There's Grapevine for like tech companies.
Tech company startup, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I call them derivative platforms, right? So like, because consulting is so big, a derivative platform is Fishbowl.
Yeah.
Because tech is so big, a derivative platform is Grapevine. But yeah, if you're doing anything that has an aspect of community and you have a subreddit, that means you're doing something right. You know, because it has the need for discourse.
Yeah.
It has the need for people to talk, and you know, this is something that truly matters to them. So yeah, couples therapy, great show. But cool, we talked about a bunch of things.
Yeah.
What's like the takeaway?
Like if you are a performer, one thing clearly you should be doing is figure out a way where you are able to capture what you're doing to be pushed out on the internet. Like there are more than enough videos and instruction videos and everything out there where you're able to figure something out in terms of format, push out like first thing, performer, figure out how to push out your content on a regular basis. It's not like push out and like haath khada kar do, keep pushing out. Figure out a way to be a part of like the bigger community that is on the
Collaborate
internet.
with other people.
Yeah, like figure out a way to get into the community, or you build your own community where you're able to leverage.
100%.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, one is if you're really starting out, you just need to like, you have to be out there.
Yeah.
Second, once you start being out there and you get comfortable with this idea of, because it's not easy,
Yeah.
for sure. Once you get comfortable, start like knowing who you are as a performer, because every performer has an identity, and then start collaborating with other people that like just like hang out, do fun shit,
Yeah.
right? And just keep at it. I think those would be the three things.
And one thing I've understood is personality plays a very big role, bigger than you think.
100%.
So you should invest a little time building that.
Dude, you know, you shouldn't shy away from the things that make you weird.
Yeah.
That's something that I have worked on this year.
Right.
Or trying to work on. Just like, dude, if you're like a fucking geek about something, just like go all out.
Yeah.
You should be known for your weirdness.
Yeah.
Because that's what people remember.
Yeah.
You know? And another great quote that I found was if everyone is liking your videos, you're doing something wrong. You should be having people in your comment section, in your DMs that are telling you to fuck off. That's a good thing. Because the inherent nature of being liked is that you will also be hated by some people. And that's okay. There's nothing like being liked by everyone. I think that's
Interesting.
yeah, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. And read your contracts properly. Or like be
correct.
futuristic about your
Correct.
contracts.
Yes, correct. Even though it doesn't make sense for you right now,
Yeah.
that's a great point. Even if it doesn't make sense for you right now, still like fight for the smallest of things.
Yeah.
So it could be in your favor later on. Bet on yourself.
Yeah.
Ki bet ki okay, this makes no sense now, but it could make sense 10 years down the line. So I want it.
Yeah.
100%. And finally, on the relationship piece, dude, figure out a way to have your own subreddit. That's the best fucking way to build your own community.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You start your own Reddit, we don't care, but like do a
Correct.
subreddit.
Dude, just imagine we started our own subreddit and then we're like, oh fuck, someone started a subreddit for us. Lol.
Crazy.
But anyway, is that the part?
Yes,
I
that's the
think
part.
That's the part.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for watching this episode. And if you're sticking until here, please consider subscribing because 83.8% of the people watching the episode is not subscribed. We put in a lot of effort to be able to produce this episodes, and it'll be great gesture from your side if you subscribe or leave a comment or share it with your friends or all of it. So I want you guys to subscribe and see you on the next one.